Greetings, Dragon Ball fans, and welcome to the other side of What If Raditz Recognized Piccolo, where the proud King Piccolo Jr. was chilling in a wasteland, practicing his latest Goku-destroying techniques, when he was accosted by some overly hairy monstrosity from the outer limits of space. This being Piccolo's perspective, I will try to slot these parts in between the corresponding Raditz points of view, and yes, I may even try this with some other points of view in this series, depending on how it all works out. Then, as the parts roll out, I'll have to figure out the playlist ordering too, I guess. Hopefully they can function as a sort of self-contained what-if, but also into some kind of shared universe sort of thing. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. While watching the rock formation explode did put a smile on Piccolo's face, his mood was tempered by the one glaringly obvious issue with this new attack he'd worked out. Its fatal flaw, unless one can distract the target long enough, is that it takes ages to prepare. Having to work your way through a fairly complex rhythm for minutes on end, while not moving at all, is really not going to hand you a win. He curses and is about to start charging it again, just to see how fast he can reach a sufficient power output to level a smaller rock formation, when something altogether out of this world slaps him in the back of his mind. The sense of power is overwhelming, and getting stronger? No, it's getting closer. Feeling around the edges of it, Piccolo balks at his worst fears come true. It feels like Goku. How could that man have gained a power like this? It's unbelievable. It's all over. Not even this new attack of his could break through that kind of defense. Not unless he gave it, maybe 5 minutes to charge? What kind of trick could he play for over 5 minutes, all while Goku could surely sense the building energy? He doesn't get much time to consider this, though, as the source of this energy comes into view, flying very fast. When it's close enough to make out, he can see that, no, this is not Goku. Well, that's a relief, right? No. How is he supposed to rule the world when there's people like this out there? How had he never felt this presence before? Anywhere on the planet it should have at least brushed against his senses. But the impressively haired and funny-clothed man is now just floating there, staring at him oddly. Is he afraid? No, there's no sense of fear here. Just a touch of something Piccolo himself has felt before. 5 years ago, for just a moment, when Goku had given him one of those beans, and Piccolo had seen his greatest enemy smiling at him. The confusion, the regret at losing, combined with the display of mercy, had all thrown him for a loop. And that's what he's sensing from this overgrown hedgehog? Confusion, bewilderment, and a touch of regret. After a few more minutes of this terrifying man just staring down at him, Piccolo finally works up enough courage and bluster to say, "What do you want?" The man shakes his impressively hairy head, though Piccolo is pretty sure it's not to say no. What, the man asks, pointing at the ground, is a Namekian doing on, Yarth? Namekian? Piccolo stares back, lost in, well, not thought, but something. Something deep. Deeper even than King Piccolo's desires. Namekian. The word rings through his mind like a bell, but has no meaning attached to it. What is a Namekian? He finally manages. The man floats there for a moment, his head cocked slightly, then starts speaking, like he's reciting from a book. Namekians, from the planet Namek. They have green skin, bald heads, pointy ears, and an... Oh! The man looks away and touches the thing on the side of his face. He glances back at Piccolo, shakes his head, again with that almost sad feeling, then just flies away. Piccolo stands there for a time, unsure what to do. Namekian. Namekian. He rolls the word around in his mind, feeling its wonderful sense of familiarity. He is a Namekian? Yes, that feels so right. He is a Namekian. And despite the incredible strength of that man, he wants to know more. He can still sense the guy moving away, not even trying to hide his power in the slightest. If he'd been here this whole time, then... Oh, he'd said from planet Namek, hadn't he? Okay, so he's an alien? Well, at least that makes things simpler from Piccolo's point of view. He hadn't sensed that guy before, because he was not on Earth. He's from outer space, as well, apparently. Now desperate to know more about these Namekians, not to mention the powers that be in outer space, Piccolo flies off after the rapidly departing alien. On the way there, he ponders what ruling one world even matters, when someone like that could just sort of drop in and take over. He arrives above Kame House, of all places, and watches as the alien talks to his old rival. He can't help but smile when Goku gets gut-punched. Not as good as doing it yourself, but still fun to see. The alien then holds a miniature Goku up by a tail? Wait, the alien has a tail as well? An incredibly powerful alien that looks human, but has a tail. Goku, a guy who looks human, but is so far beyond any normal person that he actually managed to kill the great King Piccolo and best his warrior son? a guy who used to have a tail, and whose son apparently now also has a tail. So Goku is an alien too. When the Hedgehog Man flies away, with the crying whelp tucked under his arm, Piccolo watches Goku pick himself back up, and then look up, making eye contact. He smiles back down, and after a moment's considering, he floats down and lands near them. Goku is of course a bit beside himself at the moment, since his son has apparently been kidnapped by his, space uncle? Wait, Goku's space uncle, or the boy, Gohan's? Piccolo then gets to hear much of what he'd missed out on, having arrived late as he did. That guy is Goku's older brother, and he's been dispatched to Earth to pick him up and make him join some sort of space army. And now he's proposed a deal that Goku has to kill off a bunch of people to get back into their good graces before heading off and departing Earth. Well, wouldn't that be nice? Goku just up and leaving. No, actually that's not what Piccolo wants. He wants to be able to beat Goku. But does he still want that? Surely that brother is a much loftier goal. If he can beat an alien with such incredible strength, nothing will stand in his way, not here on Earth, and not out there in the depths of space, where other beings may wander the stars, seeking their own worlds to conquer. When Goku says that he's going after his son, because his wife will literally kill him if he comes home without the boy, Piccolo is happy to come too. This is just what he needs to prove to himself, and Goku, that he is the better warrior. On their way there, Goku mentions to Piccolo that it seems that he's not from Earth after all. After a chuckle that's most likely lost in the wind, Piccolo says that, as it turns out, he might be an alien too. Oh? Goku asks. Does that mean Kami's an alien as well? So it would seem, Piccolo says, cringing at the mention of him. Goku flies the rest of the way in silence, probably psyching himself up to face such an insanely overpowered opponent. Haha, just you wait, Goku. Piccolo will show you who's overpowered. Together with his ally, for the moment, they land near the Space Brother, and while Goku readies himself for combat, Piccolo steps forward and asks again about the Namekians. He'd rather Goku not hear any insights into possible weaknesses, but the plan is to kill the alien, so, well, there's not really an option, is there? And after a brief, somewhat awkward pause, the hairy man starts to rattle off more tidbits of information. Planet size, number of stars, little vegetation, and only 2 life forms remaining some 500 years ago. Hence, he was so confused as to why, not to mention how, there would be a Namekian here on Earth. They had no technology at all, or so it had seemed. Goku spends most of this time glazed over, but Piccolo is soaking it up. He's about to ask more direct questions when the guy says, enough talk. Is Kakarot coming with him, or will he have to make do with the whiny hybrid whelp? The fight that follows is 1 part informative and 5 parts pain. This guy's insane power propels him so fast it's hard to keep track, but his attacks aren't overly refined or well aimed. He's just a street fighter, only with speed and power like nothing on Earth. Literally. Trying one attack or technique after another does little to break through his defenses, so Piccolo is forced to bring up his new attack. Can Goku keep the guy busy for, say, 5 minutes? Well, it'll be fun to watch if nothing else, and surprisingly, Goku is willing to give it a try, the fool. After a few minutes of soaking up the scene of his rival, the killer of his father, being thrown around like a dog's chew toy, the guy is finally on the ground. The overly haired alien stands over his brother with an energy ball in his hand, ready to end the man, ready to rob Piccolo of his final vengeance. Piccolo's attention, though, is grabbed by something else, a massive surge coming from the child? There is a rending sound, a bang, and then bits of something come flying up out of a nearby crater. In the center of this collection of junk is that same child. His energy is very distracting. Piccolo glances back at the alien, who has taken a few steps back, away from Goku, and is staring very wide-eyed at the little boy. Distractions. That's what he needs, and just in time, too. Piccolo lets loose the Makan Kosopo, and is not at all disappointed to see the man's head swivel towards him, a look of awe and surprise on the soon-to-be ex-being's face. As the beam lances out towards its target, said target takes another step back, away from the now grounded Gohan, but also, annoyingly, out of the line of the special beam cannon. Piccolo's moment of frustration is lost, however, in the roar and raw energy burst from the boy, who propels himself off the ground and straight into the armored chest of this would-be world-conquering alien. Piccolo watches as the alien tumbles and bounces a bit before coming to a rest, face up, staring blankly into the sky, his energy dropping off rapidly. The little boy, Gohan apparently, who'd landed right where he'd hit, then gets up and starts staggering towards his father. Piccolo mentally glances at the rapidly dwindling energy of that hairy alien and walks over to Goku and the now once again almost powerless Gohan. So, can he stand? Great, kill you later. In the meantime, they need to hold that guy still while he powers that attack again. Why? Because I missed. How'd you miss? Ask your kid, Goku. Gohan? What'd he have to do with this? Oh, hey, Gohan. Are you okay, Daddy? They all sense movement from Goku's brother, and while Gohan can't summon forth that power again, Goku's busted rib doesn't keep him from eventually pinning the much weakened man, ready for a straight-through shot. The delightful begging for his brother to let him go is like music to Piccolo's ears. Just to drive home how utterly screwed he is, Piccolo smiles and tells him that yes, they'll both die, though Goku's pals will probably just wish him back later. He fails to mention that then he can just kill the guy again, and make it permanent. The man gets a faraway look on his face, and Piccolo is sure he can hear something. Voices? They're coming from, Raditz, apparently. Or, rather, that thing on his face. And they are not being remotely nice to him at all. It's like he's some kind of second or third-tier warrior. The Raditz guy tries calling for help from them, and Piccolo can't help but smile at the ruthless response he hears. The guy got himself in a jam, huh? Well, he'll have to get himself out of it. Or not. That other guy doesn't seem to care. Piccolo's smile widens as Raditz visibly slumps into Goku's grip. That smile vanishes as he sees Goku visibly relax that grip, then dropping Raditz to the ground. Goku asks what's happened. Why has he just given up? But the man just sits there, staring at the ground, so Piccolo relaxes too, releasing his energy beam, and relays what he'd overheard. Nice friends you've got there, Raditz, was it? He says, just before sensing something truly awful behind Goku. Oh, hi, Kami, Goku says, turning around. What do you want? Piccolo then demands of his other half. Kami, it seems, has been listening in on the whole thing, and he too is very much interested in the whole Namekian and Namek thing. It all makes so much sense to him, especially with that ship over in Yunzabit Heights. If what Piccolo has said that they said was true, they simply have to... He's interrupted by Raditz starting to say that it won't matter, but then the man stops and stares blankly. Piccolo can almost see the gears grinding, but the man looks down again, the crank seemingly snapped. It won't matter, Raditz says again. If you thought I was strong, you have no idea. After waiting for a while for him to go on, Goku asks just how strong these others are, and Raditz says the words that Piccolo had dreaded to hear. The weaker is about 3 times stronger than Raditz, and the stronger is over 4 times that again. We won't stand a chance, huh? Well, neither will this guy. Oh, the look of dejection and impotence on his face. It'd be delicious if it wasn't so similar to what Piccolo is feeling right now as well. Kami then pipes up to say that he has an idea. It's a long shot, but what choice have they? He gives Piccolo an appraising look that bores uncomfortably into him, then says that it'll definitely take some work, but he thinks he can swing it. Just gotta butter the great King Yama up the right way, you know? Piccolo then senses 2 others. No, wait, there's 3, approaching in a vehicle. And when they land, Krillin carefully climbs out, followed by that annoying Master Roshi, and then another equally annoying human. Krillin gingerly approaches them while, it's Bulma, ventures over to the crater, then peers down into the remains of whatever's inside. Kami then starts on about his plan again. They will all need to head to Otherworld for a special kind of training. Yes, Krillin, you can bring your friends, but, Kami again looks squarely at Piccolo, some of you will need to be on your best behavior. And so as Kami holds out his arms to take them somewhere, and Piccolo stares down at those arms in mild disgust, we will bring this part to a close. What awaits them at Kami's destination? Will King Yama be able to overlook the sins of Piccolo's father? Is it really a good idea to leave this Raditz guy here, all alone, on Earth, with no one to defend against him? Find out next time on Piccolo's side of Dragon Ball. What if Raditz recognized him?